host, Bill Noble. The 1929 crash book is out. You need to listen to what I have to say if you have a 401k or a crypto account. If you have a 401k, you need to hear this even more than the people in crypto. Let me give it to you straight. In crypto, we're praying for a decoupling because what's going to happen in legacy, as the thumbnail and title for this stream says, is going to be the worst crash ever. Seriously. I mean, it is going to be so bad. I am hearing word from academic circles that the Federal Reserve is actually writing term papers about how bad this whole situation really is. The question is, will it reflect into crypto? Will crypto make a V bottom? Will crypto hold in? Will crypto go up? Especially if the whole Chinese bomb hits, which I have charts on. My sense is that it's get to the chopper. That's my sense. We're going to cover news. We're going to cover charts. And we're going to cover this. Don't go anywhere. I'm serious. I would rather be wrong out this. I've said this before. I would rather be wrong about this and have you make fun of me for crying wolf than not tell you about it and have you get caught. This is classic sheepdog stuff, right? Protect the flock from the wolves. Okay, let's see who's here. We have Crypto Soul, Tina Lee, what's up? Right? Patriot Caveman, Sydney Oss, maybe Band-Aid, Andre, AZ, Bull Runner, Malik, welcome. John, coming in from Wisconsin. Go Pack. Tina Lee says she got here before the live stream because you're never too late. You're never too early. You're right on time. You are right on time. Malik, there was a problem with the link originally. Little YouTube mistake there. That's my bad. Okay. David, Lord Junta, Richard Barry. What's up? All right, people. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Sephro, welcome. Okay, we're going to start with news. Any news other than what I got in my PowerPoint is good news. Mostly. Okay, Apple stock wipes out $200 billion in market cap because the Chinese are like, hey, we're not buying iPhones anymore. Gee, and Apple is worth more than the entire crypto market. But don't worry, if I buy Apple, I'll be safe from banks, everything else. When in doubt, buy Apple. Because nothing bad could possibly happen. We've heard all this before. The ban is expected to impact 500,000 iPhones. That's a lot. There is no safe place to hide. I think the only question is when it goes down, what can I buy that comes back the fastest? I think that's crypto. I hope crypto doesn't go down at all, but I will give you the charts. I will let you decide. Legacy, forget about it. Just problems. Now, this is a scary headline for crypto. Texas paid Bitcoin miners $31 million to shut down during the heat wave. So I'm sort of wondering about Bitcoin miners. Are they financially healthy? Because they basically couldn't operate. They got paid not to operate. Did they get paid enough? I hope so. I certainly hope so. Rugby Performance Labs. Kim Craig, 15K or 40K. Which one will happen first? Oh, Kim, don't make me answer that. Don't make me answer that. I have 15K charts. Some guys have 10K. I don't even want to look at it. I'd rather look at the MicroStrategy chart. That's going to be the key to everything. Okay, so China broadening the iPhone ban. Now, this is actually good for crypto. Dollar set for longest rally in years with U.S. defying global gloom. Oh, God. Does that make me want to sell the dollar with gusto? You bet it does. You realize we're going to go through this in the PowerPoint. We're headed for another government shutdown in September 23rd, which is ironically when the 29 crack actually started, September 22nd. So If the dollar goes down, Bitcoin will hold or Bitcoin will go down and come back. I really hope it's not 15K, but I can draw it. And I don't want to start that. I don't want to start super negative on crypto. I'm super negative on legacy, and I'm protect your butt in crypto, right? And be there if it goes down. Because, like the dollar is going up because people are afraid of what's happening in China. That's the only reason for the dollar to go up. Because again, you buy the dollar, you buy the 5-year note, and you just sit there with it. Okay. But, that may not even be safe, because that's the whole thing. There may be no safe place. There may be no safe place. They know that's scary, but that's going to be great for crypto, because crypto will wind up being the safer place when it's over. Okay. Google will require election ads to prominently disclose AI content. In other words, the United States is ungovernable, and our citizens have no idea what the truth really is, whether you're on the right or whether you're on the left. Lawsuits declare a certain presidential bid unconstitutional, or certain lawsuit seeks to declare. And I saw a bunch of people at a baseball game in Detroit. It's all over Twitter that says, we want this guy, or we don't want to be around at all. Social disorder. Ray Dalio wrote about it, so it's not just my cockamamie YouTube theory. Social disorder and the dollar equals crypto and Bitcoin. Okay. Even if crypto gets caught in this debacle, you still got to stay positive crypto by managing your P&L. And then, of course, if crypto goes up, it'll be the most glorious thing ever, but legacy is completely effed. Okay. Speaking of completely effed, current administration to restrict Alaska oil drilling, so the Russians can make more money selling oil on the black market. I don't know. We're sending weapons to Ukraine, and we're not really hurting the Russians where we need to hurt them. So that's nice. What happens when AI passes through the uncanny valley and you can't tell the difference between robots and humans? Okay, well, that's really interesting. Fascinating concept. That is not what we should be talking about. We should be talking about this, right? It's like, what happens when AI is God? Okay, when you start hearing that, sell, right? Just like what happens when the internet puts every brick and mortar, also called old economy. In 2000, it was new economy, the new age, and old economy. Forget about it. No one wants it. Okay, yes, it's going to change the game. But when the language starts becoming, I'm naming my pet after Nvidia, and, Skynet is going to take over, and there's going to be a robot version of Bill Noble talking on YouTube. I don't know. Not the right discussion topic. Former Google AI expert raises $100 million for biotech. Like maybe you can write your resume, you can write your name and AI, and you'll get the job. I don't know. I mean, it's like evidence of mania. I'm not saying this guy's not smart, but the way they write the headlines, right? Cambridge-based title explores a sale of video games. Everybody has forgotten about the metaverse. Everyone has forgotten about the fact that AI, job losses, this. We're going to need some fun, and fun is going to have a value. How digital cash got caught up in the culture wars. You know what, folks? Digital cash didn't get caught up in the culture wars. The central bank digital currency thing is about freedom. So if the culture war is about people who want freedom and people who don't want freedom, well, I guess it's a culture war. And I guess people who fight the culture war would say, I guess that's what it is. Personally, I want to keep my freedom. The United States of America, the Constitution, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure anybody respects the Constitution anymore. I had a crazy thought. What happens if the black swan in September and October is they try to suspend the Constitution because of social disorder? It's a good analyst job to be out of his mind a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. You have to be pushing it. Chinese renminbi hit 16-year low after exports tumble because the Chinese currency is becoming the global reserve currency, right? Yeah, right. in men's rooms worldwide as toilet paper. Okay. I mean, you know, the dollar has massive problems, but this trash is not the world's reserve currency, right? Because all they do is print and spend. I mean, they needed to, because they had a huge rural population that needed to find jobs over the last 20 years. I get it. I get why they did what they did, but please, people, these guys are in so much trouble. When you see the chart, you're going to be like, oh my God. In the absence of a global carbon tax, the green transition could prove politically expensive. The $100 trillion path to net zero emissions. All right, folks. Well, I'm not a climate scientist, and I'm sure you've heard that some people think it's a problem and some people don't. Okay. But what's the media focused on? I don't know. AI biotech startups, carbon emissions. Not this. We're going to focus on this while they focus on that. And if I'm wrong about this, good. Good. If I'm right about this, well, it's bad, but it'll be good if you're ready. Blockchain and AI are set to transform financial markets, says Moody's. Okay, normally we don't need Moody's to tell us anything because a lot of what they publish is old news, but this is a really good reminder that blockchain and AI, like I can't believe this. Like they're going to be at this permissionless concert. I DM'd somebody over at AGIX Singularity and like, hey, you guys going to conference? I mean, God almighty. There is nothing in crypto priced in regarding AI. Nothing. Nothing. Tokenization Advocacy Group brings the next trillion of assets to the blockchain. Yeah, that's because they know that when this cracks, they're not going to have any liquidity. And they need to get stuff tokenized as soon as possible in order to enhance liquidity. Liquidity increases value. The more liquidity you have, the more valuable the asset. So if you have assets and you're worried about their value, bring in more liquidity. Pantera leads $16 million investment. Okay. Crypto venture capitalist has mostly dried up and trading volumes have plunged. So again, crypto is dead. If legacy grows, crypto may be allegedly more dead. The thing is, crypto is not dead. Crypto may get caught in the biggest crash of all time because that's what the stream is about, but that does not mean crypto is dead. It doesn't, especially since this is like, oh, crypto venture capital, despite the fact that crypto is awful. You know, when you see, oh my God, it's got $1 trillion value. Oh my God, they wrote this huge check. Okay, sell. Okay, this crypto is still here. Okay. Crypto spot market hits 4.5-year low. Now, okay, let's talk about, let's like jokes aside. Why is this happening? The general public doesn't have enough money to invest in crypto. The credit cards are maxed out. They're probably going to start giving up on paying the credit cards. They just don't have the disposable income for crypto. Now, institutions are buying it, right? But, you know, miners are selling and institutions are buying, and that's why it just sits still. That's it. And then we have to see when all the money comes pouring out of legacy, whether it pours into crypto. God, I certainly hope so. God, I hope so. There's a big move coming in crypto. That I can prove. That I can show you on the charts. The question is, what direction? Okay. Depressed crypto market regulatory risks don't dissuade asset managers. 60 buy-side professionals and hedge funds say they're actively managing digital assets. Yeah, because they read this book too. Okay. They're just like, okay, well, you know what? If we're going to hold something and we may lose money, we might as well hold something and try to manage the risk in something that we know is going to go up after, you know, the house burns down, the legacy house. It's as simple as that. Korean asset manager taps Polygon Labs to do what? Get security tokens. Why? Because they need liquidity. Fears of not having liquidity can create panics. Publicly traded firm to build games on Avalanche. Okay. Okay. I guess it's good that somebody's using Avalanche, but I need a bigger headline. Give me a bigger headline, folks. Give me a bigger headline. Bitcoin set to form death cross as dollar teases golden crossover. Okay, so they gave you the Bitcoin chart. Okay, they're giving you the dollar chart. Now, here's a tutorial on golden and death crosses. So you get the golden cross, which means the 50-day cross is above the 200-day moving average, which is what they have here. And the second they touch each other, you get a move in the opposite direction. So the dollar will go up until the moving averages touch. You'll get a lurch in the other direction. Then maybe the move will continue. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? Everybody will sell. Everybody will sell. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's a death cross. You know, death cross. Market goes straight up, squeezes everybody out. Then if it's going to go, it goes. Don't trade headlines. Don't. I love this. Blanket crypto bans won't work. IMF and FSB warn in joint paper. The global standard setters warn that stablecoin adoptions may transmit volatility more than crypto. Okay. Good thing we have the IMF and people to tell us that we need our freedom and we need crypto, and that if they ban it, they can't ban freedom. Just ask every dictatorship on the planet that has fallen at the hands of people who want to be free. Free. San Francisco lost its chance to be the blockchain capital, Ripple's Larson said. Okay, so this is a good time to just be a reminder that, generally speaking, government just can't do anything right. The primary job of government is to protect the people. Police, fire, intelligence, ambulance, military. Other than that, they should just stay home. Right? City of San Francisco passed all these laws. Now it's like Mad Max, and it could have been Crypto City. What a shame. What an embarrassment. Right? What an embarrassment. Kathy Wood's ARK Investment files for first spot ETH ETF. They got to get it on their balance sheet, people. I mean, this is the cushion underneath crypto. This is the cushion. And wouldn't it be funny if legacy melted down and crypto either sat still, puked, and then came back? All these big players are down there. Now, that doesn't mean the charts in crypto don't look a bit perturbing, hence me bringing all this up. Driftless, welcome, right? Somebody talking about my shirt. Are you young enough to wear that shirt? I'm not sure, man. Did not think about the wardrobe choice carefully enough today, no doubt. Okay. Steve J says fake out, then breakout. Silas says summer of 2022. Entirely possible, bro. Entirely possible. Reverend Flashback is back. Patriot says crypto is our savior. Ash in the house. Welcome. Okay. Arik from Israel, welcoming the Middle East to the show. FOMO Sapien, welcome. Patriot says buckle in. Duilo says 18 USD for a breakfast burrito in LA. Not what I remember from the USA. A bottle of Pellegrino, 2 mixed drinks, and a small appetizer. $63 US yesterday with the tax and the tip. The United States is ungovernable in that situation. Crypto SOL. Don't expect the stock market to go down at all. You guys are going to get wrecked. I'm telling you, it's going to break all-time highs this December, right before January 24, before elections. Stop being dumb. Okay, this is a great comment. We actually like on the show people actually saying the exact opposite of what I'm saying. That's great, right? Because you got to get all the points of view before you make your decision. Now, let's talk about what happens if our friend here is right. So let's say stocks don't go down. That would be pretty good for crypto. But you know what happens if stocks go down? Bonds are going to get wrecked. Bonds are going to get wrecked because, you know, stocks and the money people borrow against stocks is what keeps inflation high. And we're headed for a government shutdown in September. We are. So if stocks are the safe haven, okay, it's going to happen in bonds. You might be able to hide somewhere for a while. But if this person's right, I can tell you where the problem occurs. And believe it or not, if for crypto, I would rather have the problem be in stocks because the correlation is low than have the problem be in bonds. Because if bonds and long bonds go down and rates rise, nothing survives. I call it Thanos. But this is a good comment, and I'm glad you made it, and I'm glad you're here. Okay, Routine Cheese is here. He thinks the uranium miner stocks are safe. He has ticker symbol URNM. Okay. Dollar is just the least iffy. Right. The dollar is a parking lot for the Chinese. Okay, now we're going to PowerPoint. The gloves are coming off. Get the children out of the room. NFA. Let's talk about gravity. A guy named Robert Babson was an American entrepreneur in the early 20th century. They named a college after him. He was a stock market analyst in 1929, and he was one of the few people who predicted the crash. And he had this really weird theory that the stock market was influenced by Newton's law of action and reaction right here in the middle, and that gravity could be used to explain movement of prices, which a lot of these like solar lunar psycho guys who are legit and win awards in Barron's, that's what they say. He developed his own indicators to measure cycles and trends. He worried of excessive speculation and overvaluation of stocks. And guess when he made this observation? On September 5th, 1929. Okay. And everybody thought he was out of his mind. Barron's, in an editorial on September 9th, referred to him with heavy irony as the sage of Wesley, meaning they made fun of him, and said he should not be taken seriously by anyone acquainted with notorious inaccuracy of past statements. Notorious, right? Okay, so I'll be notorious. Okay. He said, sooner or later, the crash is coming and it may be terrific. This could actually be worse than that because the Fed may stop it in certain areas, but then it'll spill over into other areas. In other words, the government may make it worse. And the Fed knows it's coming. So maybe it won't be as bad. But let me tell you something, folks. The pain is going to go somewhere. Let's just hope it's not crypto. All right. So I'm a crypto analyst, so I can't control myself when it comes to hating on equities. I'm sorry. But this is the Apple quarterly chart. And as you can see, last quarter was a 13 top. That's a Tom DeMark indicator that warns of a top from a system called TD Sequential. So last quarter was a top, and this quarter is probably going to be a down quarter for Apple because I don't know, unless they discover 500,000 aliens on another planet who also need iPhones, I don't know how they're going to make up for this sales problem. Now, Nvidia, okay, which, you know, is the unstoppable chip company making AI chips that will never have any competition ever, and it's going up for the rest of our natural lives, and you should never be short and whatever. Let me just ask a question. Let's not talk about Nvidia because we know it's AI. We know it's, we know. Let me just ask a question. How much money have people borrowed against Nvidia long positions, assuming nothing bad could possibly happen? Maybe not to Nvidia, but maybe to the general market. And the same thing is true with Apple. Like, how much leverage do we have out there in the system? Okay, so my favorite. So I was a young analyst during the tech bubble. A lot of stories about the tech bubble. There was an analyst at Merrill Lynch who pretty much right here said, don't touch NASDAQ. And it went straight up. And everybody at his firm hated him. because all he did was tell people to not touch it. They fired him right there, and it went straight down because the internet was going to change everything, just the way AI is going to change everything. AI probably a little bit more powerful, but you know, we had things like pets.com and internet sites that didn't really do much that were worth tens of millions of dollars. But, you know, if you put .com on the end of your business's name, you could IPO at a $10 million valuation. And then it was Fed hikes rates, tech rolls over, accounting scandal with Enron, geopolitical event 9/11, and all of a sudden, you know, up here, it was the revolution. Down here, no one would even touch it. No one would touch Google's IPO right here. Did not even touch it. Like, don't talk to me about another internet stock. Okay. Could that happen here? I don't know. Maybe if our friend is right and it doesn't happen in equities, then something else is going to happen. But the point I'm trying to say is in legacy, the world is distorted, right? Either they're just overly optimistic, or they're ignoring problems, or they're just in denial. And let me tell you something, folks. Every big mistake starts with denial. The chapter of this book in the 29 crash, I like it. It's called The Twilight of Illusion. The Twilight of Illusion. S&P 500 futures. Okay, there's a shoulder, there's a head, there's a shoulder. This is pretty much the standard formation in technical analysis. It predicts a much bigger decline. At a minimum, you're probably looking at another 5% before it even gets to the danger zone. But any asset manager that is looking at this and not making some portfolio adjustments, I don't know, man. He just must be a bullish cowboy. Because if this thing gets wrecked, or if you have some kind of major problem starting in September, junk bonds, Elliott wave, DeMark Elliott wave, right? Elliott was a guy who sat on the beach and looked at waves. He said, this is how markets move. 5 waves. 1 down when it's going down, same as going up. 1 down, 2 correction. 3, 4 sideways, sometimes 4 sideways. And then this is an automated system calling for a new low in junk bonds. Keep in mind, Ray Dalio, not me, folks, not me, Ray Dalio, has had a bet on gigantic corporate bankruptcies. Could be banks, could be leveraged retailers, right? Ray Dalio predicting social disorder and corporate bankruptcies. And Ray Dalio's hedge fund is up like 40% every year the last 2 years. I mean, the guy has been psychic. 40% in a legacy-based hedge fund is unheard of. He got the interest rate rise. He got everything that happened with the yen. I mean, he called the top of the stock market in July. I just uncanny, right? Uncanny. A public service announcement that there is a solar eclipse on October 18th. There was a similar solar eclipse on September 23rd, 1987. That was 20 days before the stock market went down 25% in one day as a part of a much bigger downtrend. In 1929, on September 2nd, which also happens to be the fall equinox, a reputable firm, a financial firm in London, suddenly went out of business. Why am I telling you this? Well, because if you wake up and you see such and such is bankrupt, and it's not Chinese real estate, or maybe it is, somebody just went away overnight, battle stations. If it doesn't happen, great. Crypto just sits here, great. Why do I want things to get nuked? I really don't. I mean, I'd like to see governments and legacy learn a lesson, and I'd like to see that money flow over to crypto. I mean, that's going to happen. The only question is, how do you trade it? Now, I can give you some hints, okay, and we'll go through that. Now, let's get this bigger for you. Now, let's talk about where the real debacle is going to happen. It is going to be in the value of Chinese stocks. So the governments may come in and they may save banks, they may save borrowers or bondholders, but people, stocks, Stocks don't get paid. Stockholders get nothing if things go bankrupt or if things blow up. Stocks get nothing, right? And the Chinese government is like begging people, the funds, not to sell. And guess what? This is A share, ASHR in the US stock market. It's the proxy for domestic Chinese equities. So there's 2 different stock markets in China, actually 3. This is the one that's traded just inside China, only China inside China, not Hong Kong. Okay, this thing broke 26, and I can use hidden pivot analysis of this trend and this correction to draw a move to 10. FXI, which is big Chinese stocks traded in Hong Kong. So Chinese stocks from the mainland that trade in Hong Kong, same problem. Consolidation near this level, 2791 is the key point. Now, maybe it just dances there. That'd be great. That's great for Bitcoin. The reason that the Chinese opened up Bitcoin trading is they're giving their institutions and their people a way out if things come unglued. The Chinese getting into Bitcoin in Hong Kong is national financial risk management. Because I don't know how this does not come totally unglued. The twilight of illusion that what's going on over there doesn't matter. Like, I've heard this. They said it to us in 2008. They said, oh yeah, Lehman, Merrill, all that. Yeah, that's your problem. Our economy's growing at 10% per year. Guess what? And everyone's like, yeah, this is a domestic Chinese problem. Yeah. So is losing 500,000 iPhone sales. This is the mega crash. This is where it starts with the Chinese equity market. Now, followed closely by U.S. retailers. So yeah, the banks are in trouble. I don't think we need another stream about the banks. You know, the banks, the credit card companies. I mean, do I have to tell you that it's long Bitcoin, short the banks, or at a minimum, just short the banks? But then there's retailers that have a lot of leverage, who have borrowed a lot of money, like Kohl's. U.S. consumer walking away. Labor Day holiday, it had to be buy one, get one free, or nobody shopped. Nobody shopped. Schwab. Okay, so, you know, when you had 29, you had panic. Like the stuff that was never going to go down or never should have gone down, like I believe it was Standard Oil, companies that were supposedly rock solid, totally safe, not going to go down, they went down. Schwab is a huge retail house, huge retail customer base, right? And if you had, and that stock dropped a lot when Silicon Valley Bank happened. And then of course it comes back and you have this huge gap up here because everything was fine. Everything was great. And of course, no, it's not. And then you have the rally, and then you have a failed rally at 60. The stock is only at 58.20. Again, in 29, it wasn't like, it wasn't like that. It's just like a slow rollover. And then it went. So you actually got time. You got time to get ready for this. Okay, the dollar. I just want to puke. I don't want to like go on and on and on about it because I went on and on and on about the Chinese, right? They're just going to buy a dollar deposit and stick it somewhere. They can't stick it in a treasury bill because who knows if the government's going to pay that, but they'll find a longer term bond, hopefully. Or they'll just put it in a bank that's probably guaranteed by the Fed, like JP Morgan. They'll just stick in the bank. Not Capital One, but they'll stick in the bank. Because they're like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. And if JP Morgan goes down or if a 2-year treasury bond is no good, well, then we have a much bigger problem. You know what I'm saying? Then we need beer bait and self-defense. But this is what's holding back crypto. This is what's killing crypto. And the reason it's killing crypto is because people are afraid in China and they've only started to get afraid. Now, I'm not advocating that this is going to make the dollar go up, but it could. I can draw 107. I can barely get that out of my mouth. I can't say it. Because that's how much I hate the dollar. And I hate the dollar even more because it's killing crypto. So, you know, like stocks could kill crypto, the dollar could kill crypto, and so could bonds. So Just as a reminder, there is a possibility of a government shutdown in September, as Congress has not yet passed a budget bill for 2024. The current funding for federal government expires on September 30th. If Congress fails to pass a spending bill or a continuing resolution, the government will shut down. And we're going to play the default game all over again. Now, the 45th president of the United States just got booked in a jail in Atlanta, and he got his mugshot taken. What incentive is there for the political parties to get along? Even if both sides don't like that guy. There's none. And no one's talking about this. No one is talking about this yet. That's why I'm talking about it now. So let's talk about the 10-year. So Lamson says, what about gold? Can we hope to shine high? Yes, you can, as long as it's not a bond market debacle. Silver, I like. If silver goes up, ETH will go up. Part of the thing that scares me about gold is this chart right here. Now, what happens if stocks don't go down? Honestly, we should pray stocks do go down. What happens if they don't? Whoever brought that up, that was a great point. Just a great point. This is the yield on the 10-year note. Right now, it's at 429. I can draw 505. I know guys that have 550. That would be inflation that doesn't go away, a job market that's still tight, although I'm not convinced of that, and a complete loss of credibility of the U.S. government and the Fed. Government shutdown, inflation out of control, Russians and Chinese selling bonds, particularly the Chinese, anything to raise capital. 1987, higher interest rates, trade deficit problems, like the Chinese with the iPhone, trade tensions, boom. And if interest rates go up, like the thing that could hurt the stock market is that interest rates could go up first. That's why maybe people are bailing out of stocks. They're like, man, I'm not dealing with this. And I am not the only person that knows about this. Now, I may be the only person that studied 87 and 29 and was young enough to at least remember 87 because the news was so disastrous. I asked my father, I called him up and said, do I have to come home from college? Is the world ending? He's like, no, the world is not ending. John says a reckoning is coming. Amen, brother. It is. It most certainly is. Okay. Raj wants to know what should be trade for now. Okay. Bitcoin, maybe. Nothing is okay. Cash in 6 or 7 different places. Going back to what I was saying, Silicon Valley Bank. You know, large bank, gold, Bitcoin, Crypto.com Visa card, Target gift cards. I don't know what's safe here. I can tell you right now, if this 10-year note yield, if bonds go down and rates go up and the 10-year yield goes to 5.5, there is nowhere to hide, people. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk like this. There is nowhere to hide. This is the destroyer of worlds. Oil. Okay, now, if the stock market went down, that would be great because oil would go down. Or if the Chinese economy crashed, that would also be great because oil would go down. But if those things don't happen, oil, according to this hidden pivot work, if 86 is support, oil can go to 95. So this is like some kind of cheesy James Bond movie where there's 6 ways to die. Apple, Nvidia, the 10-year note, oil, junk bonds. Somewhere in here, you're going to have one or all blow up. It's just a question of what order it is or which one provides the biggest blow up. Now, that's the trick, right? Like, I need to be psychic, but I can't be psychic. Right? I can just present charts, scenarios, and make sure I read to you out of the book. So you know, right? The day the book doesn't work anymore, thank God, ETH and Bitcoin are going to scream to the upside. So this is Thanos ZB, long bonds, right? It's where they get the 30-year mortgage rate from. Okay. Interest rates up, bonds down. So bonds down, bad. 120.22 is resistance in ZB. The downside target could be 106. I thought it was going to be over at 116. It went to 116, bounce and failed, triggering the famous phrase, beware the failed rally. When you're in these markets and this looks like this and you get a rally and everything looks great and then it fails right at a technical point, just like that did, get to the chopper. Okay. Let's take a commercial break and talk about something good. MicroStrategy. Now, the biggest hope that Bitcoin could actually stay stable or go up if legacy melts down is this chart. Okay. Asset managers are not going to want to deal with Bitcoin ETFs. Yes, they will buy them if they come out, but it's much easier to just buy MicroStrategy. It's a stock. They own a ton of Bitcoin. It's not an ETF. There's no regulation issues. There's a perfect diamond bottom. The stock is trading at 350. The upside target is 566. Now, of course, if the stock broke down along with everything else, it would break the diamond formation and trigger a massive move the other way. Diamonds usually trigger massive moves. Hopefully, the massive move is up. There is hope that MicroStrategy can hold 340. If it does, that's great for Bitcoin, but it could also mean that Bitcoin might go up or hold at the expense of everything else. So wouldn't it be horrible for most people in crypto if stocks, bonds, dollar, China nuked, you were long crypto, but you were long the wrong crypto, right? Like I'm assuming if MicroStrategy holds, Bitcoin is the right crypto, but you don't know that. You just hope it holds because the chart's decent. And it's the same thing with GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, the guys that just won the lawsuit against the government. So this comes from Jesse Livermore, first technical analyst to actually write stuff down, right? Like the caveman writing on the wall. He writes this upward sloping cone formation as a potential prelude to a parabolic move. God, us crypto heads can only dream of a legacy debacle. And of course, there is the thing to note that if there is nowhere to express the tragedy in legacy, then crypto has to move. So if stocks, bonds, oil, junk bonds don't reflect reality, China, if it doesn't, you cannot get reality reflected, right? If this doesn't apply, then it's the reverse, and Bitcoin and crypto is going to moon indiscriminately because people are going to need alternative assets. People are just going to go, okay, well, these other things are broken. Maybe they're going to go up. Maybe they're going to crash. Maybe they're not. And I'm just buying Bitcoin. That is possible. Okay, so now that I've delivered some Kool-Aid, now let's go back to the book, right? So Bitcoin over here, this is the Williams Oscillator. The Williams Oscillator is a combination of things like RSI and stochastics, and it's developed by a quant guy, kind of just to make your life a little easier. Okay, and when the Williams Oscillator gets near zero, normally there's a big move. Now, which way is the big move? Well, of course, we hope it's up, but Bitcoin is just not able to move because of the dollar. So you have to be at least cognizant of the fact of what happens if Bitcoin breaks 25,100. Okay, this is the daily chart. You have a 13 bottom. You had a 9 bottom. You had this rally, which I was like, we are so back. This DeMark work was fantastic, and they sold it. Like this was the beware the failed rally. Now, on Friday, you're going to have a 9 bottom. In DeMark, you have 13 bottoms and 9 bottoms. These are signals from a quant method that count whether a certain set of conditions are present. Like, I don't know. The low is lower than the low 4 days ago. DeMark makes it easier by giving you big 13s and big 9s to look for tops and bottoms. Okay, you're going to have a 9 bottom on Friday. So here's what I'm telling you over the weekend in Bitcoin. If you get a rally and it fails, you know there is a big problem. Because when you have a 9 bottom, you should get, it should reverse. But if it reverses for only 1 day and continues, then the trend is going to continue. You're going to go 1 through 13. So beware the failed rally over the weekend. If it rallies, great. Crypto could rally because, equities will be closed, bonds will be closed, Thanos will be asleep. So we don't have to worry about it. So crypto may try to go up over the weekend. Now, if it does, and they try to squeeze out the shorts, great. But if that rally fails, then you got to get to the chopper. Then you got to get out. You just got to get out. It's not investment advice. It's risk management. XRP, WTF. There's a 13 bottom. People are buying the dip. You can see these wicks. I'm not sure if you can see them on TV, but people want to get this near 50 cents. So, but the question in XRP is, are people willing to pay higher prices? Everyone wants to get it below 50, but the thing is, there's got to be some oomph. I need an oomph on the upside with this 13 bottom, and I'm getting a little old sitting here waiting. Now, I don't want them to bore me out of the trade. So if something does go up, Bitcoin and XRP are at the top of the list. Now for the bad news. Okay. Bitcoin monthly. Bitcoin is definitely at a decision point from the Fib circle analysis. The Williams Oscillator says there's going to be a big move on monthly charts. So there's going to something that's going to go down this month that is going to make Bitcoin make an absolutely huge move. So get away from the mentality that Bitcoin is a sleepy thing that doesn't move. Forget that. I can tell you right now, that's wrong. I'll bet some cred on that. Okay. You have monthly stochastics rolling over. It's not a really good looking picture. It's not. Okay. It's not a good looking picture. ETH is the same way, right? You have the big move signal last month, and this is not a particularly good monthly close. The best you can hope for, I think, in these two big cryptos is sideways action. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, I don't know, I'm not an expert in technical analysis. First of all, there is no such thing, just so you know. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, this is a weekly chart. Normally, I don't pay a lot of attention to this chart. I've always known it's here. I've done videos about it. But this is this 5-wave thing that we talked about in junk bonds. So in Bitcoin, you start up at the 2021 top, you go down. Then you have a quick rally, 2-wave. Then you have this protracted FTX Celsius debacle. Then you have a seemingly long but potentially glorious stair-step function, right? Which I'm like, okay, this bearish Elliott wave thing's not going to work. It's going to go to 40, right? Wrong. Grayscale, fail. I mean, on Grayscale, it should have gone to 40. And when it gets to 25, you should have the whole world buying it because all these guys want to have the Bitcoin ETF. But where is everybody? Now, they may be coming. Maybe they're waiting for it to flush down or see if it flushes down. And if it doesn't, they'll come in after it. However, this chart shows the 4-wave is up here and the 5-wave is down there. And we're talking sub 15K. And I know a lot of other guys are drawing this, and they're not even using the D-wave. They're using other stuff. So could Bitcoin go to 15K? Yeah. Has Bitcoin lost its chance to go to 40K? Well, unless Bitcoin becomes the ultimate safe haven, unless the whole world goes Mad Max, which, I wouldn't doubt, right? I mean, could be this. I would love to see Bitcoin 40K, and the MicroStrategy and GBTC charts support it. But this one is now scary because there is no way this market should have gone down after Grayscale. No way. Like I'm forced as an analyst to take this chart seriously. Like, do you really think I want to get on the air and talk about going below the FTX lows so it can go to 40K and you guys can make fun of me for the rest of my life? That's okay. It goes to 40K. I'll be all right. Really. We're all going to make it. Okay. But if Thanos comes after this, they're coming after Bitcoin. Altcoins, Solana, same thing. Solana hit 32 and the D-wave says it could go to 6. What does the world look like with Solana at 6? Now, just as a reminder, so it's not really a call for Solana at 6, but it is a question that an analyst has to answer. I'm sure you've seen the drama in crypto influencer world. I happen to think that, it's more about analysts than influencers, especially if this is going to happen. Everyone says, well, I would love to buy Solana at 6. But what does the world look like with Solana at 6? Like, how afraid are you going to be? Let me tell you something. You're going to be really afraid. Like, I got up at 3:45 this morning. I can't sleep. Every time I got to bust out this book and the charts line up and I got to tell you to get to the chopper or check your 401k, I would rather talk about something else. I do not want to talk about this. I mean, I'm good at telling people like, hey, these are the charts. I want to get there early. I want you to be protected in case this debacle is in stocks or bonds, because the 401k decision is now really difficult. It's not investment advice, but where can you go? Maybe it's gold. Maybe it's silver. They haven't been rallying a lot lately. The good news for crypto regarding gold and silver, if silver goes up, ETH will go up. If gold and silver don't go up in time of crisis, that means you're going to get a V bottom in crypto. Let me say that again. If gold and silver do not go up, if there's a problem in legacy and the traditional safe havens, treasuries, gold, and silver are not safe haven, that is going to mean you're either going to get a V bottom in crypto or you could have no decline at all. However, based on some of these charts that I put up here, you should not be under any illusions that unless it's just ridiculous that crypto can survive a system-wide calamity. Or at least you should have capital set aside so that like in November or December, you can plow in without this fear of going, gee, is it going to be all right? I mean, if you wanted to hold a core position, that's one thing, right? But if your core position goes down 40%, are you going to panic? In other words, like, you know, you have a decision tree. Like, here's my portfolio. It goes up 10%, 20%. What do I do? It goes down 20% or 30%. What do I do? And be honest with yourself. Like, what's the moral of the story here? Okay. Don't lie to yourself. Don't. Every big mistake starts with denial. If this is wrong, great. But every big mistake starts with denial. Do not be in denial about what's going on in legacy. Okay. Because there's going to be a problem over there. And when that problem comes, it will be the dawn of crypto. But just like Google's IPO, right? Frequently the dawn of the internet or the dawn of something is preceded by revulsion and oh my God, which is why if crypto does go down, ironically, it's good. I mean, the fact that nobody wants to trade on Coinbase right now, yeah, it's bad that people don't have the disposable income. But one day that's going to be good that no one is interested. So stay interested, be involved somewhat, but you got to manage risk right now because this 87.29, the top was right after Labor Day. It was slow rolling. It wasn't a collapse. And everybody fell asleep. And then all of a sudden, someone was out of business in late September. And then boom. And we got the eclipse on October 18th. Eclipses can be very powerful. In April, it was what triggered, you know, the January to April rally was the impact of the eclipse on Bitcoin. The traditional financial system came unglued, and it was the dawn of a new day in Bitcoin, or so it seemed. God, would I love to see that again. I would love that. Okay. However, as an analyst, risk management requires me to just give you both sides and note that there are some bearish charts in crypto. The only way crypto moons if legacy crashes is if gold and silver don't rally. In other words, the safe haven, if it's not the safe haven, it's crypto. Just remember, there may not be anywhere to hide, particularly if you're holding a bunch of altcoins filled with hope for the next cycle. I would encourage you to rethink that. So protect yourself. Don't get wrecked. Don't. Buy a chart program. Follow the charts yourself. You can follow the charts. If you can look to the left and find a support or a resistance point, namely where did the market start or where did the market stop and where is the market today in reference to those points, guess what? You're now using technical analysis. Folks, stay strong. We'll see you Monday.